Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvel cast, Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Elektra and Black Bolt. My name's Ashley Hobley, your definitely totally human podcast host. Join me today, Ultimate Hero Martian.
Are you guys just fucking glad we don't have to have like 20 seasons of Will, Ted, and Robin get together, or won't they? Like, it's a real nice choice they made at the end of this episode.
Very definitive answer in this one. Also joining us is the astonishing Dylan Blight.
That's how I feel about my name too. You know.
No, make that sound so I know exactly where to cut
it.
Okay. But now you've referred to it, so damn.
Nope, Dylan's just not going to have a funny thing.
Just... Hey! You're censoring Dylan to keep your mistakes hidden? Holy shit. No, you're going to have to censor me! Oh my god!
No, too much work. Today we're talking about the first episode of Secret Invasion, the latest Marvel MCU TV series. Can you believe it's been since She-Hulk at like end of last year? We've had since the last TV series.
I feel like it was getting one every 6 weeks, and then
biggest lull between them. But very excited to be here. So let's just dive straight into talking about episode 1, Resurrection, directed by Ali Selim, written by Carl Bradstreet and Brian Tucker, based on Marvel Comics. Nick Fury learns of a clandestine invasion of Earth by Skrulls. Ciaran, what do you think of this first episode of Secret Invasion?
I don't actually know. Like, I think I'm very caught in the middle. It feels very jarring to have a TV show like this, which in Marvel Universe, which is extremely grounded. Like, it feels like it's been a really long time since we had a more, even though it's got fucking aliens in it that can shapeshift, like, it still feels very grounded and maybe even in some ways like such a smaller scale story. Like, maybe as far back as like the last Captain America TV show, like Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's the one. I feel like it feels so long. I think overall I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how they play with a lot of questioning of who's good, who's bad. At the same time, I feel like there's something missing a little bit from the main cast of kind of, I guess, protagonists in this one, just at the minute. Like, I enjoyed Emilia Clarke. I liked the initial mystery of, not mystery, but figuring out that she was the daughter. But I just feel like it felt very weird with Fury, Hill, and is it Talos, that's it. And Talos to be like the main three for this episode. Like, it just felt like there was either something a bit missing or just something a little off for me. That was all.
Okay. Dylan, what did you think?
I thought it was a decent start. I think the pacing was a bit weird. It seemed moving a bit too fast, I guess. Like all in the lead up of like introducing we've got to get Nick Fury down. We got to introduce the threat real quickly. Like, it starts out a million miles an hour. It's not like the slow build to the threat. It's like the threat's already here, and it almost feels like you're jumping into the third episode to a degree, I guess. It just sort of go. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. I like the vibe. I like the some more grounded, secret. I also think, like, obviously setting it in Russia, or at least where this starts, and having it be there, you do get like that Cold War spy thriller aspect of it too, that ties in between the setting and everything there. And of course they make it work where they're like, oh, there's a bunch of places they could hide, but that's just like a MacGuffin, I think, so they could have that Russian feeling, at least to start the show off with. Samuel Jackson having back is fantastic, of course. Samuel Jackson brings a fantastic premise to anything he's in, so having a show where he's the star, I think, is super exciting. I'm keen to see more between him and Talos Ben Mendelsohn, because I really like Ben Mendelsohn as well. Olivia Colman as well, super interesting character, not from the comic books or anything like that. But yeah, by the end of the episode, and we'll get more into it, of course, I was like, okay, so Maria Hill's dead. Like, where are we going from here? Like, it just seems now I sort of like that trio, so now I'm just sort of like, Is it now just Talos and Nick Fury? Because that's a bit weird. That's a weird, like, sort of just
Well,
two-man group.
it
But
led with the credits with like special guest star Colby Smulders. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like kind of that confirmed that
Oh,
she's
yeah.
very, very
Pretty. Unless next frame, Skrull.
dead.
It was the mother the entire time.
Damn.
It was a trick she was playing on the daughter. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I can understand the critique. Like, it does definitely like drop you in the middle of like everything has kind of changed. Especially given that the last time we saw the Skrulls in general has been Captain Marvel, which was set in the 90s. So, like they said, it's been 30 years. Like, the whole society has kind of shifted. And then we're kind of... I can understand from, like, a debut episode they want to hit the ground running and, like, have big talking points and, like, have the splashiest possible social media reaction possible and, like, already having a look like people freaking out that Marie Hell's already died. Yeah, I'm enjoying what we've got so far. I like the relationship between Talos and Nick Fury. They've got like clearly a relationship in history that I'm sure we'll get more of as the episode goes on or episodes come along. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see more of the, I guess, Skrull camp and that side as well. So we do open the episode with Martin Freeman, good old agent. What's his face? Agent Ross. Catching up with an old acquaintance who's going on a crazy conspiracy theory with the red string and everything about Skrulls here on Earth, about to try and cause some sort of dirty bomb accident.
This is what I mean about going a million miles an hour. Just like this whole scene is just to set up to give you as much background on the show. If you have no idea what Secret Invasions, we're coming in knowing what the show's about. For anyone who just comes in and sits, this whole couple of minute rant is just for the audience members too.
Aren't you meant to be coming in from Nick Fury's point of view? So if he's been away and he comes into this situation,
no,
I don't.
Because
if
they wanted to do they would have had him a different character explained to him. Like the show just starts and they're like, blah, 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 invasion.
This is more interesting than someone explaining to Nick Fury though.
But like, I think really all this opening scene, other than like kind of doing the basic setup, was play off on the fact of this series is going to be a lot of who the fuck's a Skrull and who isn't a Skrull, because I think there were several times throughout that opening scene where you thought that Ross could be Skrull, and then it's like, oh no, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. And then it does play out that he is in fact a Skrull, and kind of playing off of that, I think it's that set up really well. Yeah, I don't think it is from Nick Fury's perspective, just because I think there's a lot of depth and backstory to what's going on with Nick. I think I always felt a little bit jarred by Nick's character in this, because I think it's so different to what we've seen of Nick Fury so far. Like, there's almost this essence of him being very fragile throughout this.
Oh, I think that's something that's a bit to detriment of the episode. They just straight up tell you haven't been the same since the blip. You know?
Oh, you mean all 16 characters that say it to him in this one episode?
Yeah.
You don't feel the same. I want to talk about you.
You haven't been the same ever since the blip, and you haven't been random guy at the pub, and then the Cobie Smulders, and then Talos, and then random
little kid with a ball.
Little kid. Like, everyone's like, you've not been the same, man.
And especially because the last time we saw Fury was him laying down on a deck chair. Was that the end of Captain... Oh, that was the end of Captain Marvel, though, right?
No, we've seen him since then.
Oh, was that...
No, it was the end of Far From Home.
Spider-Man? Far From Home? Yeah, where Nick is, like, gets up out of the chair, the deck chair on the phone to the Skrulls. So I feel like that version of Nick Fury didn't seem to have these problems, and that is post blip as well. So I just feel it's very disjointed.
No, that was pre-blip.
No, Far From Home's post blip.
Was it?
Yeah, Far From
Oh yeah,
Home's
it was
post-split.
after. Yeah.
post-split, yeah.
It's getting confused. So
Yeah, no, because Far From Home's the first movie after. And
that's right, and then No Way Home is part of Phase 4.
4. The
That's what
the shining
like
light
no,
of Phase 4.
that was like the end of no. So yeah, turns out Ross Skrull after he falls from a building, as you do. We get to see Talos. Maria Hill's there. It's like, oh, we got to get Nick Fury because there's this big conspiracy. We do so. He comes down from Saber, where he's apparently been spending all this time. Interestingly, apparently he quit based on the discussion that we get with between Don Cheadle and the President of the United States, Dermot Mulroney. And they seem like they're going to be a big part of the series, given their named cast members.
It felt once again. It also felt very weird that Don Cheadle is I can't remember War Machine's actual
He's
name.
a little government. He's always been a little government bitch.
Yeah, but I thought I thought he would have a different feeling towards Fury. Like I thought there'd be some kind of respect or some kind of
I don't think it's anything
almost
about
loyalty
respect.
to him.
He's just always he always falls in the government side of any of these things.
Yeah. Then Nick Fury gets caught up to speed, and then as you do when you suddenly appear on the streets of Russia, you go for a walk, especially if you're a large, tall black man, and then promptly gets captured. Turns out by Olivia Colman's character, her
Best
goons.
part of the episode.
Yeah, she's kind of shooting scenery here. Fair to
She
say.
just had a good time. You could tell the two of them enjoyed that kind of back and forth and enjoyment. And for somebody who either works for MI6 or is part of MI6, Nick Fury stuck a camera on the eye of that owl far too easily.
Yeah. Well, maybe she wanted him to.
Maybe she's a Skrull.
I don't know. There is, a very short list of people who I'm certain are not Skrulls.
I'm sure
It's
Nick
Nick
Fury's
Fury.
not a Skrull. I'm sure. No, move on. Yeah,
I'm
done.
definitely sure Ben Mendelsohn, not a Skrull. Oh, fuck. So they have a talk. He plants his little device, and then later she's talking to her boss at MI6 and reveals her information of where she thinks these bombs are going to be placed.
No, where the bomb maker is.
Bomb maker is, and old Nick Fury and Talos go hunt them down. Talos wants to handle it himself, seeing as it's an actual Skrull. How are we feeling about this Talos being shunned, I guess, by the Skrulls? And the major theme is that the idea is they want to set off nuclear bombs around the world so they can make Earth their new permanent home. That seems to be the general gist of what he pitched.
Yeah, considering that they can survive in radiation and stuff, I would be keen to say that's pretty much it.
I don't like it because it reminds me Captain Marvel. He was like the outsider too.
Was he?
Yeah.
No,
I mean he was the leader.
He was the leader of the Skrulls in Captain Marvel.
Of that one small group that broke off or whatever.
No.
They were like the victims in that case. Remember, it was Marvel or whatever. The Jude Law character was the bad dude.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Come back to me.
Kree. Yeah, it was so
it's been a while.
It was so long ago. And who the fuck rewatches Captain Marvel?
People who like Brie Larson. Shut your mouth.
I think it's interesting him being shunned. The only thing I find odd is like this race that lives for a very long time. 30 years really shouldn't be that long for them in like the grand scheme of things. So for their people to already be getting impatient about finding a home, feels a little off. Like they've just kind of said fuck it. And we saw once again going back to that. I feel like that end credit scene with Nick Fury on that ship is very much the undoing of a lot of my connection with this show, because the end of that scene is him walking into a ship full of Skrull, and there being Skrull everywhere, walking around and doing different things. And that was how many years ago now in the Marvel Universe? Like, that was only like...
Oh, well, that was like ages ago now, actually. I think we're ahead years from that, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know if the bad Skrulls in this series are necessarily representative of all Skrulls, but even though technically he's on the council or something,
yeah, I was going to say
very
he's on the
weird and convoluted.
He's on the council, so I'd say he is like a enigmatic figure on the council. Like, it seems to be.
Well, maybe that's actually why he quit Saber, because he's like, fuck, all these Skrulls, maybe they don't want me. They're going to kill me in a minute.
But Saber seemed like it was a human thing, not a Skrull thing, Like, the way all the humans were talking about Saber, like the way the president was talking about Saber, that Saber was a human led project or kind of held project, and that was why it was so important that he was staying there for it. It just, I don't know. I feel like there is a lot of convoluted stuff in this series that is a little bit hard to pick through at the moment through this first episode.
Yeah. We'd also get a Skrull refugee who comes across the radical Skrull camp, where Gaia brings him into the fold. We kind of get a look at the refugee camp, or whatever. We get to see, what they're doing behind the doors, how they're going to get their victory. And they are stealing people's faces and then stealing their minds, pretty much, by zapping them with a bunch of stuff.
Well, they keep them alive.
Yes,
so that they
just extract more information.
And so they don't ruin their plans by, like, rocking up and stuff, I guess.
Well, why don't I just kill them?
Maybe
That's a
we'll
valid
find
point.
out. Did anybody pick out the guy that we saw in the later scene, like the art dealer or the bomb maker? He was actually in that line of people that you could pick, that you could see.
No.
But that doesn't.
I noticed him because of his hair, because I thought his hair was really cool as the camera came past him.
Yeah. So then Gaia is tasked with going to the bomb maker and getting the bombs, as you do. So she ends up getting tailed by Maria Hill, who follows around Russia. While Nick Fury and Talos have their fight with the Skrull dude. Talos wants to fight him by himself. Nick has to intervene. Bit of bad blood, bit of, issues between buddies. Then they catch up with Maria from wherever they were across town super quickly. Because Maria gets her ass kicked, and then Talos comes and confronts Gaia, and then tells her, it's this, what is the name of the leader? Gravik. Gravik is the one behind her mother's death that she didn't know about. Yeah. So then they meet again later. For some reason, I don't know how they communicated, where to go or how.
They must have like a secret
meeting idea.
Yeah.
And she tells Talos exactly what the plan is, and then she's going to UV spray paint the bags. There's going to be a bunch of handoffs in a park. They're going to blow up a Unity Day celebration.
Here's
Talos
my thing with this. Do we think she lied to Talos? It was all part of the plan?
Part of me says yes. It makes the most sense.
I feel like I was...
I don't know. Maybe she wasn't in the know. It was only Gravik who knew.
Well, because that was the thing, right? Because the guy said, you've just given us the bait in the scene beforehand. Yeah. And then on top of that, on top of it, we then have the bit play out in the end scene where it's like, all these characters that we drew your attention to throughout the opening scenes with Nick Fury were all Skrulls, and they're all doing fucking the Shining shit to Skrull and to Nick Fury and leading him around the area to where the leader is currently about to blow everything up. So it just feels like it was already pre-planned, and she was just either not fully trusted, and you could tell that from some of the interactions she was having with other members in that community.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe, she thought she was doing the right thing, but she was also getting played. Then Nick Fury goes and plays some chess with Maria Hill because, that's what good friends do. Except, are they good friends? That's the question. Because she and like every other person who came into this show says, not the same since the blip. Even just outright, like, she seemed very pissed.
I think he was like,
who was the Skrull?
That was Nick. No. I think that was Nick Fury losing it a little bit, but it didn't quite make that obvious. Like, it just kind of oddly alluded to it by the guy looking at him weird when he asked him, "What did he just say?"
Maybe. And she kind of foreshadows her death by saying, if you're not in this properly, you're going to get somebody hurt. And he did.
Got a kill.
Oh.
Yeah. So they keep hinting at, we do get a flashback to him getting blipped away. How do we feel about, Nick not being Nick? He's not wearing the eye patch anymore.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Well, he hasn't worn the eye patch since.
We haven't seen him since.
No. Well, he put the eye patch in that container at the end of like Winter Soldier, right?
No, he had it on in Spider-Man still.
I think he literally had it on.
Well, no, because Spider-Man wasn't him.
It was actually Talos, but still,
it was Talos the entire time for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I think he was literally wearing it when he got blipped in this shot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was wearing it.
You mother.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see him? We're going to get flashbacks?
I would like to understand.
Are we going to see him re-blip? Unblip?
I don't know. I'd like to understand what exactly about the blip changed him or affected him so much. Like, we saw in...
Let's predict, everybody's got their own thoughts on why, but give us an answer.
That's the thing, right? I'm struggling to totally understand it and to work out an answer myself.
I think that they're playing on the idea that Nick Fury has always been someone looking for control and protecting against the Earth, and his major project was build the Avengers, and the Avengers would be able to protect against anything no matter what, and that all fell apart, and now it's like he's because he knows there's stuff out there greater than anyone, he just I think they're trying to say that's affected his mentally.
Doesn't that just get unraveled by the fact? Doesn't that just get unraveled by the fact that then the Avengers did in fact save the day and fix everything?
I guess maybe, but only just
At what cost?
At what cost?
One of his best mates is because everybody got.
Except for Iron Man, literally.
Except for Iron Man and Black Widow.
Yeah.
And Black Widow. Everybody else
Two people's closest to Nick Fury, yeah.
I wouldn't say Nick Fury was that close to Tony Stark. Widow.
Yes, I would say he definitely was. The first Avenger.
He was begrudgingly close.
Yeah. He didn't get the movie called The First Avenger, but he was the first Avenger, so
Yeah. So then they go to get these bags, and it goes to shit. And turns out Gravik was one step ahead of them. Sets off a bunch of bombs, potentially setting up a new war between USA and Russia, and shoots Maria Hill while wearing the face of Nick Fury. How do you feel about Maria Hill dying?
I think I don't like it because I was looking forward to having Nick Fury and Maria Hill in a show and getting more time between just the two of them, because their interactions and their teamwork in the movies sparse, but it's always enjoyable. So her being dead, kind of sucks. But also, I guess it adds a little bit of like weight to the show since they've killed off at least somewhat significant character. Yeah.
Kieran?
Is it bad that I didn't care not didn't care, but it didn't affect me or didn't hit me that much, and at the same time I ruined it for myself by thinking of the How I Met Your Mother joke at the same time. Like it, like I I think it was just, I don't know, I feel very disconnected from this, and maybe it's just because I had no like build up for this show. I have like barely seen anything to do with the show. I know what Secret Wars is, Secret Invasion is,
Yeah.
but like I have like very little leading into it, and this feels, because for a lot of these characters,
I don't think there has been a lot to lead into it. There's only been a couple of trailers.
Yeah, and even like it just feels so almost disconnected at this point from like the rest of what the MCU has been so far. Like maybe I've been used to for the years the MCU being very much more tightly knit. And, well, shit is also a good perspective because there is pick and choose, which is good. But
look, as far as I know, there's no one casting this in the villain or lead role that is going to get charged with sexual assault anytime soon. So I think we're okay.
Wow, Bentley Kingsley, a dear. You better watch.
Oh my
You
God.
better be, hands clean, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of affecting.
I'll have to replace. Did you see how they replaced what's his face on the voice in that?
Dan Stevens replacing.
Yeah, they'll have to do that for fucking shooting arrow.
Well, I mean, it's easier with this show. It is so much easier with this show. They just different human face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming. I mean, it's a very cool way to end the first episode. Like Dylan said, like adds weight to the show. Like long time character in the show, but also disappointing that I would have liked to see more Marie Hill. I loved a lot of like the little interactions, whether it's them playing chess or him offering her whatever food he's eating. He's like, okay, try some of that. Yeah, is it just going to become the Nick Fury Talos show? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something. I just was, well, I don't know if that could work, I guess, but then it, like, okay, like I enjoyed having a female perspective amongst the two.
Or is that what Olivia Colman's for?
No, because she's like an she's a foil to them
Clarke.
still. Yeah, Emilia Clarke. Maybe she comes back into it eventually. Obviously that's the storyline they're setting up there with her like coming back to the good side, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you wish that had played out longer over episodes in terms of like realizing who she was? Like, even though it's kind of bad that she was like the only female character that was like, I guess, a standout or a central point in that Skrull kind of community. So it's instantly like, oh, okay, you're Gaia.
I think a lot of my problems with this particular episode could have been fixed by actually making it feature length opener, fixing the pacing, and then by the time you get to the end with like the show not feeling as rushed for the majority of it, then I also feel like I would have maybe felt her death a lot more in that moment, a lot more, because I didn't feel like I was rushed to get to there and then like left with a, oh my God, cliffhanger moment amongst everything else. Because I just felt very rushed through this episode. And then they're like, not only am I feeling rushed, they're then like, here's a major cliffhanger, the character's dead, who's been in MCU for like 10 years. So
yeah. Any other final thoughts?
Do you want to talk about the intro?
Yeah. So I'm going to read from Polygon. The World of Secret Invasion. The World of Secret Invasion is decidedly sketchy with thousands of shape-shifting Skrulls. You can't trust what you're seeing. What you think you're seeing 1 second, you're looking at Nick Fury or an esteemed world leader. The next, you see your face morph into something else entirely. This is a description of the plot of the new MCU show on Disney Plus, which follows Nick Fury as he uncovers a secret invasion by the Skrull population. But the concept of the shapeshift is also seen in the series' very different approach to its opening credits, which look like a sort of watercolored rendering of the key players and themes of Secret Invasion. As director and executive producer Selim tells Polygon, the intro sequence was designed by Method Studios using artificial intelligence, something he thinks plays with the very themes of the show. When we reached out to AI vendors, that was part of it. It just came right out of the shape-shifting Skrull world identity. Who did this? Who is this? So yeah, AI opening credits.
It looks like shit. The fact that it was created by AI explains a lot. The excuse of, oh, it's thematically appropriate is BS because they're just saying that because it's this show, even though they're totally testing the waters for using this technology for other things, including other intros. And then when they get to the intro for fucking whatever the next show is, they'll be like, oh, like it's not thematically, but we just liked it so much for that last show. And we liked it because it cost us no money.
But it did cost some money.
Yeah, but nowhere near as much as I guarantee it costs to pay real people to come up with real things.
We don't know that.
Oh, I fucking guarantee it. I will fucking put my.
You don't think that credit
account.
Studio just went, fuck it, we'll charge the exact same?
No, in that interview, they literally go, the director's literally like, so we put in like some Nick Fury Skrulls and it did something. And then I was like, no, let me change the wording and it did something else. Isn't AI great? People used to sit there and spend ages doing these things. What is art?
Oh my god.
I hate everything about it. It's terrible. And look, I think this is really significant, and I think you're going to see a lot of people talking about this for the next. I think the thing that a lot of people are going to be talking about this first episode is that intro, especially as more and more people see the stories that are saying it is AI, because it is the first significant use of a fully created AI moment in a major property or what have you, right? The fact is entirely AI created, and the fact that artists used to get paid to come up with something like this that actually thematically made sense and would maybe tease things about the show or the characters or whatever else, and now they're just like, lol, AI can do it. It also just makes me feel yuck because I'm like, nothing in that intro has any thought or thematic meaning to any of it. Like you in any other show, you could be like, all right, an artist came up with that. Like, is that like, what's that saying about the character? Maybe that's teasing something. Like, there was like discussions about it or like concept art or what have you. It's like watching The Mandalorian. You get to the concept art at the end. That's real concept art. And you can see where that concept art either turned into reality in the show, or you can see how it's slightly changed once production really happened, or like the designer creatures and stuff like that slightly changed. There is no meaning behind anything in this intro. It is just fucking garbage. Put it in a dumpster, burn it. I hate the way that this is happening in the industry, movie, TV, games industry. It is trash. Burn it in hell. I hate it so much.
It's also like, guys, this is fucking Disney. It's not like they're fucking needing to save money or they couldn't afford to put a fucking studio to make this shit.
They would fucking make everything in AI if they could. I guarantee if they could afford to pay, if they could buy a program that makes this entire show and they could just buy Nick Fury's fucking likeness from him, it would be that episode of Black Mirror that just came out. I'm fucking telling you right now. They didn't give a fuck.
All right, well, on that note. Let us know what you thought of this episode of Secret Invasion, or what you thought of the opening credits and the impending impetus of AI technology on creative industries by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvel
What? Hold on. Why are they always screaming about people taking jobs when it's fucking a non-white person? But the second it's AI taking someone's job, they're like, it's fine. It's probably a white AI anyway. Right? Can we put the fucking...
What the fuck?
They're taking our jobs. No one's screaming about this. No one gives a fuck. Why don't those fucking Trump fans who usually give a fuck about jobs, why aren't they up in arms about this? All right, continue.
Because it's not jobs that they were going to have.
Yeah, fucking hell. It will be eventually. It will be when the fucking jobs are fucking trash pickers and
for middle management.
fucking racists that work at supermarkets. Like, I'm sure the AI will take those jobs eventually too.
Let us know what you thought. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvel Cast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the #1 Australian-made MCU and AI antagonistic podcast on the internet.
I can just cut out the last 5 minutes. That's the show, right? Roll that out. Put the rest out. Just cut it. That's it. Just put my rant out. That's it. You know what? I'm going to sell my likeness to you, Ash. I'm not going to do the show anymore. Just have a little Dylan AI do these podcasts. There's enough content of me online. I'm sure I can read all my he can probably make me. Fucking hell.
And if you thought this episode was worth $1, head on over to our Coke page at explosion.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you watch next week's episode of Secret Invasion and join us next time for another all-new Marvel cast.